Hi, everybody. It's Kat here with a live stream of the Mom's Adventure Paradox podcast. I'm so glad that you're here with me today. It's springtime. There are a lot of places that you could be. It's April, and my children love April Fool's jokes. So, I want to talk today a little bit about when you know the joke is over. Some things I'm hearing from other business owners and podcasters in the space right now in real time, and some of the things I've been experiencing with my children, because I'm guessing these are going to resonate with you too. So, first of all, at the beginning of the month, it was April 1st, and I was having a team meeting, and my hairbrush was in my office, which is kind of weird. I keep my hairbrush in my bathroom. And then I picked it up and I noticed it had some stuff on it. And this was all happening live. You can't make this stuff up. In a team meeting, I discovered toothpaste on the hairbrush. Thank God I hadn't put that in my hair, right? So I got to witness this attempt at an April Fool's joke by my children planted in my office with toothbrush or toothpaste on my hairbrush. It was pretty funny, but it was also one of those moments of, oh gosh, me talking about humor, me talking about jokes, me talking about pranks with my children who are between the ages of 7 and 9. Sometimes it can go wrong. Sometimes they don't really know when it's not funny anymore or when to stop, when the joke is over. So let's just think about a joke. And if you've listened to some of my mini-sodes this month, you know that at one point I had a short stint on stage as a stand-up comedian, creating my own work. And a friend of mine who's a professional, let's just be honest here, I was complete amateur, one and done for me. He explained to me that I ended up in the 99th minute, right? And that when you get past 99 minutes, it's going to be really hard to make people laugh because they're just done. If you look at most stand-up whatever videos on Netflix, none of them are over about 99 or 100 minutes because that includes the credits, by the way. It's what we can withhold when it comes to humor or someone just riffing and riffing and riffing, and we're with them, and then maybe our mind wanders. I don't know if it's how the human brain is designed, whatever it is. There really are these aspects to humor, to jokes that stand, and they stand in all cultures, by the way. If you're wondering about humor and how humor can translate into different languages, yes, there are going to be cultural things that will be much funnier in one culture than another, where they don't share the same cultural beliefs about certain things. So certain jokes just won't be funny when translated. But there are some jokes that are going to be funny no matter what the translation, or there's just something funny about them, maybe funny about the way they sound. Right now, I'm thinking about the beautiful translations that have been coming through on my feed because I follow a lot of these because I find them so fun, of different ways to say different words in a certain language where every word basically sounds the same, but they have completely different meanings. And then they put them together in a tongue twister. So right now I'm going to share a tongue twister from Awesome Jokes That Every 6-Year-Old Should Know by Matt Wow. Here's the tongue twister. Are you ready for it? Get those lips ready. It says, Swan swam over the sea. Swim, swan, swim. Swan swam back again. Well swum, swan. All right, let's see if I can do it faster. Are you ready? Swan swam over the sea. Swim, swan, swim. Swan swim back again. Well swum, swan. Do you think I can do it even faster? Let's just try it just for fun and then we'll move on. Swan swam over the sea. Swim, swan, swim. Swan swam back again. Well, swum, swan. All right, good. See what happens when you practice something 3 times? And I could keep going, but the point of it is it's fun when you take in a tongue twister, or you're learning a language, or you're learning how to say a word, or you're learning how to tell a joke, you're in it. If I kept doing that for like 5 minutes, you would probably move on to the next podcast, right? So, how do we stay in a joke and how do we know when a joke is over? There's a comedian I really love, not the friend I was talking about, a different one right now. And he talks about how there's a setup and then there's a punchline. So, the setup is like you kind of think the joke is going this direction, and then the punchline lets you see the thing you didn't see that makes it funny because you thought this was the direction you were going, right? That's how a joke works. But sometimes the punchline might not land. It might not be funny. Okay, here comes one. One's coming through. When I was a river guide, we had a very, very cold, rainy day on the Arkansas River. I'm talking hail, I'm talking miserable. We're all wearing rain jackets, but it's still really unpleasant. And finally, we pulled over and made a fire. Now, I've been a fan of jokes for a long time, and using those jokes and practicing them on people and giving people joy, giving them laughs really came from my river guiding days. That's where my practice really came through. So, on this particular day, I had in my boat a group of Boy Scouts. Spoiler alert, we have a dirty joke coming. So, if you have children listening, be prepared because you may or may not be ready to explain this one to them. All right, spoiler alert. Okay. So, anyways, I have these Boy Scouts in my boat, and I only know one Boy Scout joke. So, I tell them the only Boy Scout joke that I know, which is when does a Boy Scout become an Eagle Scout? When he eats his first brownie. Okay. If you didn't get it yet, you might get it later. Okay, anyway. So the point is this is a dirty joke, right? We pull over, we make a fire. Well, some of the other boats on this particular trip were from a church group, and these were all boys about the same age, probably 12, 13, 14, something like that. And they all start talking to each other as we're around the fire. And my boys, the Boy Scouts, shared with the church boys the dirty joke that I had shared with them. And this minister, pastor, came up to me and said, are you the guy they call Crazy Cat? Like, I've got a bone to pick with you. And it was a moment where I really recognized that there are going to be some spaces, some audiences, where that joke is not going to be well received. I'm not going to tell that joke to my children right now. If you're listening, I hope you fast forwarded, right? You got to know where and when your joke is welcome and where and when, hopefully, whoever the recipient is, like me being the mom with my kids with the toothpaste on the hairbrush, it's going to be okay, but that wasn't great, right? At least they're not letting air out of somebody's tire, right? That could be the joke later because they just never quite understood the nuance of humor and who you can run pranks on and who you can't and how that all works. And I think humor is such a great way for us to assess where we are in our personal lives, in our, say, discipline. I mean, the time when I was telling those jokes, I was in my 20s. Here I am in my 40s repeating that story because I think it has value in the lesson of understanding what is and isn't appropriate. And that there are times to talk about these things, and there are times to tell a joke, and there are times where that joke just doesn't belong there. And it's okay to figure out that that joke doesn't belong there. You have to go through the experience of telling the joke and maybe having nobody laugh. Then you move on. A lot of business owners I'm talking to right now are trying out strategies that maybe aren't working in the space anymore. I have been interviewing a lot of podcasters about podcasting, and it's been interesting to hear some podcasters basically saying they don't want to talk about podcasting itself. They want a podcast. We all love podcasting, but actually talking about podcasting and the things that we do in behind the scenes is not something they want to be interviewed about. It's been very interesting to see the humor in that, the joke in that, the setup, and then the punchline of, oh, but we don't want to talk about that thing. What we want to talk about is our message. We want to talk about why we came here, what lights us up at the end of the day when the joke is over. What's the thing that could still get a rise out of us? What can help us smile, get back on the pony, back on the river, back in those memories, something we maybe once thought was funny, something we might find funny again. What is it? And this is especially true for people who might be going through a deep loss or grieving period right now. And you might not even know that you're going through that. I was very fortunate to meet with the beautiful Donna McGowan, and I'm going to drop this link in the show notes yesterday and be on her series, Courageous Women Rise, which is this incredible, excuse me, summit that she's running. And I was honored to be invited to be one of her 21 speakers. And we talked a lot about having faith. Often the faith comes through after you face the fear courageously. You don't feel ready. You never feel ready. And sometimes things don't land the way you think they will. You go out and you try for something and you just don't even know what's going to come through from it. But if you don't go try the thing, you're never going to know. You're never. ever gonna know. So I just want to share this and help you meditate and consider where in your business, where in your personal life, parenting with your children, are you still working on a joke that maybe no longer serves you? Maybe the joke is over. My kids, the other day, they had some friends over and I had bought some gummy candies. And I said, listen, everybody gets a surprise. They didn't know about the gummy candies. If you take all of the double-sided sticky tape off of all of the light switches. Yeah, plenty more where that came from, by the way. The jokes have been all over the place here, right? And they were able to get it off. And some of them they can't get off. And we're going to have to get nail polish remover and like finish getting the final sticky stuff off. It's okay. You know, when you clean house, you make space for other things to come through. I cleaned my desk out today. I found Mother's Day cards from last year. It's almost a year, my friends. I've been holding on to these Mother's Day cards in my top drawer. In fact, I'm going to share this one now because it's so good. It needs to be shared somewhere. Here it is. Happy Mother's Day from Danny. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see she's drawn a pretty picture. My mother and I, we're in the mountains, in case you were wondering. Actually, it almost looks like we're in the ocean or in a lake with mountains behind us. But it says, my mom's name is Kat. She is 70 years old. She likes, I'm actually not sure what that says. Oh, I think it says books, but it's spelled B-C-O-U-K. Books. She likes to book and ride horse. And then on the back it says her favorite food is grapes. I didn't know my favorite food was grapes, but that's cool. When I'm at school, my mom works. It's true. She likes it when I play with me, with her. My favorite thing to do with my mom is dance. She is really good at riding. My mom always love you. Love, Mom, Danny. I love that I'm 70. Someday I will be 70 and I will look back and I will read this beautiful Mother's Day card. And you just don't want to miss these moments in April. Like sometimes you don't even know what the humor is. You don't even know what seeds you're planting when you're doing the work you're doing. Maybe to get up and tell a joke. You know, I got up and told a joke at a bar, and it's how I got a radio show. You never know how humor is going to help you in your life and your experience and your practice of getting a little bit uncomfortable. So don't not tell the joke. And don't shame yourself if you feel like the joke is over, if the business strategy isn't working, whatever it is. It's okay to have an unstrategy. It's okay to step back. You are the business owner. You are the CEO of your life. And I listened to Amy Porterfield's Secret Business podcast today, by the way, and she talked about exactly this, strategies that she thought were working for her, that then she realized were not working for her in the middle of it. And she had to call it. And this may be your moment. You may have to call it in whatever space. Maybe you need to try something different. Go back and listen to my other mini-sode this month, The Power of a Pause. Take a moment, have a little space, have a little perspective. Get out into the woods, out into the wilderness. Go deep, connecting with your dog, connecting with your animals, connecting with yourself. Because that is where you're going to find your greatest humor, is in deep, deep presence. That's what makes a joke so funny. You're right there for it. And the other thing I want to share is like, it's not just about jokes. You know, laughter is the closest distance between two people. I can't remember who said that, but I love that quote. The other day, my neighbor came home and she sent me all these pictures. She was like, is this you? Did you put this on our door? Did you do our door? And I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. So obviously not. What's on your door? And she sent me these pictures of all of these hearts. Her door had been love bombed with all these beautiful, bright colored hearts and all these compliments and why I love you so much. And just because Valentine's Day was in February doesn't mean you can't love bomb people in April. It's Easter week. What kind of Easter eggs can you set out? It's Passover week if you celebrate. What can you do to get down to the essential thing in your life that makes you up, that makes the joke up, the thing that will never be over for you, that will always keep coming from overflow? That is my invitation to you. Go for that thing and only that thing. And with that, I'm going to wrap up this mini-sode and go pick my kids up and wish you a beautiful, beautiful Tuesday. Transformation Tuesday. I will drop this link if you want to hear my whole conversation with Donna McGowan from Courageous Women Rise. We are going to be promoting this all over social media. Please opt in. It's free. The VIP, you can get it for more, but my talk airs tomorrow and I tell some really good stories and it's super short. It's only like 15, 20 minutes. You get a bonus if you do the VIP, another 5-minute really awesome story that I share. But we would love to see you in there. And if you're getting ready to start podcasting or want some help elevating your podcast, please reach out. I'd love to help you with that. Have a great day. Don't forget to share this with a friend if you loved it. Follow, subscribe, and opt into our newsletter. Thanks so much.